How old were you when you first started?
15, 15 years old.
15 years old.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's so funny. I hear that so much. 13, 14, 15.
But let me go back. 15 years old was with drugs. I started drinking probably around 10 or 11 as an altar boy,
Wow.
drinking the wine.
What? Really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I never thought the wine was that good myself.
No.
I was an altar boy too, so
Yeah.
I get it. How were you introduced to drugs?
Through a cousin.
A
Through
cousin?
family member. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Peer pressure?
Peer pressure.
He was a little older?
A little older. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Right.
You know
Do you remember when, so that was the time you started drugging. What was the first drug you used, you said?
marijuana.
Marijuana?
Yes, sir.
Well, they say marijuana doesn't lead to anything else.
No, it does. Absolutely. It's the gateway drug.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
And where did it lead you to, Adam?
Smoking crack.
Smoking crack.
Yes, sir.
And how long?
Everything in between.
Tell me, what are some of the drugs you've done?
I started with marijuana. I went soon thereafter to cocaine in the powder form, hallucinogens, acid, mushrooms, microdots.
You must have come up in the 70s.
No,
No.
born in '77.
Wow.
I came up in the '90s, more or less, and then let's see, tried some heroin as well, and ended with crack cocaine.
I'm assuming that's your drug of choice.
Yes, sir.
And that's the one that landed you here at the fellowship?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how long have you been specifically on crack?
Oh, on and off since about '99.
How did it make you feel? What was the euphoria? What was the hook that kept you going with crack versus anything else?
Yeah, there's a certain feeling of ecstasy or powerfulness even,
Right.
and kind of took me away from reality or whatever I was doing, whatever I was going through, good or bad. Because I've used in the sunshine and I use in the rain, same thing. And I think that the energy it gave me as well was euphoric.
So it seems to me that you're more on the physical side of the dependency versus any real emotional baggage that you may have. Is that correct or
No.
Okay.
No. But I hid it well.
Okay.
So growing up with domestic violence and some physical abuse mixed in there and a lot of chemical dependency in my immediate family.
Tell me about the physical abuse.
Well, my father, he kind of ruled with an iron fist, if you will.
So he
and
beat you.
Sometimes.
Okay.
And my mother.
And your mother.
And some uncles and
And some
cousins.
uncles, right.
You know, he also has some mental health issues that didn't really mix well with his own usage of marijuana and a little bit of alcohol. And then my mother also is one of us, as I say, as an addict. So I ended up actually using with her as well in my adult life, in the adult years.
So you got high together?
And yep, and uncles and against cousins and maybe an aunt or two. So it was kind of a family business.
You know, there's always this battle between environment versus hereditary.
Yep.
You know, the more and more people that I talk to, it really seems to really lend itself more to the genetics, the hereditary, the DNA, versus the physical.
Yep.
You know, so it seems like it's a little bit of the hereditary, somewhat of the environment, and obviously the emotional. So kind of like a perfect storm. Where did you get your drugs from?
The street, usually.
Right off the street?
Yeah, yeah. Drug dealers, you know, that I've made contact with over the years, and I've lived in 7 countries, and from Miami to Alabama, as far as the United States goes, and I didn't use in Europe, but I've used pretty much from every city from Miami to
Where did you get the money
Alabama.
to travel around like that? I need to be on that travel plan.
missionary work primarily.
Missionary work.
Yeah, yeah. I did have a time of sobriety.
What type of missionary work?
Catholic missionary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the altar boy.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Obviously, you got your stuff off the streets.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about, do you have really at this point in time in your life, do you have any support right now from beyond fellowship here and the great staff here? Family, friends? Who do you turn to?
Absolutely.
Who?
I do. I am married. I
You are
also
married?
have a family, yep, and a
Great.
stepson.
Great.
Yes, sir. I've known her since first grade, and she's a healthy woman. So that's a huge support in my life. But also, there are some friends who are sober. I kind of went off the deep end with the addiction and left the good people alone, away, and isolated. I isolate when I use. So
That's typical.
my social network is
Right,
basically healthy,
right,
especially as far as alcohol and drugs are concerned.
right.
And my family is still a little iffy. So I keep my distance from them right now. But
Is your father still alive?
yes, sir.
Do you communicate with him?
Yes, sir. I just saw him
Would
last
you
weekend.
call it a healthier today than what is then?
Absolutely.
Does he acknowledge what he created by his abuse? Does he acknowledge that or accept
Not
it?
necessarily, no.
No.
No. We
Why
kind of
is
leave
that?
that alone.
What?
We
Okay.
leave it alone. I just, maybe his own personal issues,
Right.
the mental health, and now he has some physical health issues. So I'm as cordial and polite as I can be, and I was just with him last weekend painting his apartment, for example. Him and my mother are still together
Wow.
through all of this.
Wow.
She's in a nursing rehabilitation home.
Uh-huh.
So I keep my distance, but I'm cordial and polite, and just love them from afar
It's very big of you.
for now.
Very big of you.
Yeah.
Very. It's nice to hear. So when you're doing crack, your drug choice, okay? What's the feeling? What's the euphoria? Are you able to like shut everything out and digress, or does it allow you to really be more open? Help me understand the feeling there.
Yeah, mainly disconnect.
Disconnect.
Mainly, primarily isolated, alone, and under the influence. So disconnected.
What is the trigger you think what triggers you that says I need to disconnect?
That's the $1 million question.
Okay.
But it is some issues emotionally.
Uh-huh.
I think, and within myself when I'm not living a healthy lifestyle,
Right.
especially with integrity. What happens behind closed doors or when no one else is looking? If I'm not really living a sound spiritual life, it leads me down that road, and inevitably I use.
So when you use and you want to disconnect, do you go on a binge? Is it a day? Is it a week? Tell me, how long does this last?
I'm labeled as a binger. Yes, that's accurate, and usually about a week.
About a week.
Okay, so to expand on that, it's about till the money runs out.
Okay.
Now, in my youth or younger days, because I'm getting a little older now, it would last longer, but it would probably end up in jail or an institution, quite frankly. Nowadays, I am a little older, so it's ending now when the money runs out. In the past, it has ended when the money runs out.
Okay, got it. Any thoughts of suicide while you're drugging or afterwards,
No,
or
sir.
any regrets?
Regrets, shame, guilt,
Shame, guilt?
embarrassment, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How did you earn your money for drugs?
Working.
Okay.
Working.
And what kind of work do you do?
Construction,
Okay.
restoration. Right now I'm doing concrete cutting, for example. I've had many different jobs over the years.
So how long have you been in fellowship here now?
About a month.
Tell me, how's that going for you?
Fantastic.
Why?
I love the network that I've created here, the social network, the recovery network, and also the accountability, the structure that's offered, and the sense of actual fellowship, the name, with the other men, with the friendships I've experienced, and actually the love I've experienced from them without even really knowing all the people.
That's great.
Yeah, as a welcome.
If you had one word of advice, now you started when you were 10. Wow. If you have any word of advice to a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old so that they don't have to face the same challenges that you've had in your life, what would that be?
Be honest. Be honest with someone. Talk to someone who you trust, who you can trust, and tell them how you feel, what you're going through. Don't hide it. No matter how bad or embarrassing the experience may be honest.
Adam, thank you so much for sharing your story, your
Thank you.
challenges. It's really a very, very, very tough thing to fight any kind of addiction. But from what I understand and what I've learned over the years, the crack cocaine is one of the toughest monkeys to get off your back. So know that you have a lot of people that care for you, a lot of people that love you, a lot of people that are cheering for you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.